Welcome to another episode of Speaking with the Senator. I'm Senator Kevin Avard, your host. And today, guess what? We're going to be talking about politics. But before we do, I'm going to ask you, if you don't mind, please hit that like button and subscribe to our channel. If this is the first time you're seeing it, and if you've seen it and you like the show, hit like. And if you don't like the show, please hit like. It gives us a good algorithm. With that, I'm going to introduce my guest, and he's from Ward 1. You're basically running for state representative.
That's right.
And Sean Rogers.
That's right.
And physician.
I am.
And so we can talk a little medical if you're inclined.
If you want to.
So welcome to the show, and thank you for stepping up to run for our show. So you're running for Ward 1 Nashua.
That's
now,
right.
Where do people vote in Ward 1?
At Broad Street Elementary School.
Broad Street, okay. Is this your first time at running for state representative?
It is. I ran for alderman last year. Unfortunately, didn't make it, but I'm going to give it a shot and try to run for state rep so that I can, make things a little bit better for people in the state. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. So you're a physician.
That's right.
Where do you practice?
I practice in both the hospitals here in town, at Southern and St. Joseph.
Okay, and so you're a general practitioner?
Yeah, I'm what they call a hospitalist, which is basically like when primary care physicians became too busy and too underfunded to make it to the hospital. Basically, somebody had to take care of the patients in the hospital, and that was generally they're either internal medicine doctors or family medicine doctors who are full-time, take care of patients who are sick enough to stay overnight in the hospital.
When I was a little kid, there used to be a Memorial Hospital, and I used to take my tennis racket and my tennis balls and used to play against the wall until somebody would kick me out of there.
Oh, really? I'm trying to think what wall that would be, because I don't know.
It's not there anymore.
They built up so much that I just don't see that. So.
Yeah, but that's interesting. My nephew was born there as well. But there are a lot of issues that people are dealing with. I know they're really concerned about the taxes and the cost of living. I don't know about you. I think you said yes, but I just got that letter in the mail the other day.
Yeah.
And our house got reassessed from an organization that's from Hudson, Massachusetts. And apparently the mayor's office had them do a reassessment, and our assessment went up $100,000.
Yeah.
So we got a 22% increase on our house assessment, and we had 7 days to make a schedule to, either contest it or whatever. But surprise.
Yeah. That's terrible.
And did you get a letter?
I had talked to my wife. I don't think we got an official letter with a number amount, but I think we were notified somehow that there's going to be a reassessment on our house.
Okay.
And it always only goes up, and it's always
never goes down.
Yeah, it never does. And I think they had, if I recall correctly, they said, they try and delay it and they try to do all these things, and I guess that is, at least this time, not true, because it hasn't been that long since the last one. So
it's only a couple of years, if at the most, or a year and a half. And we've been hitting the doors and talking with people all the way from here to Ringe and New Ipswich, and at least within my district. And a lot of people are really concerned about the cost of living, and they don't want an income tax. What's your stance on that?
They don't want an income tax?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's hard to say, because, I'm not for income tax or tax in general. I want to keep it as low as possible. And it's really hard to get a fair tax. An income tax, realistically speaking, is probably one of the, if it was like a flat income tax and a low income tax, it'd be the fairest income tax you have. But the problem is that the government always wants more and more, and an income tax just allows them to just ratchet it up. And soon you're like Minneapolis or Minnesota, where they got like a 10% income tax. And so I just wouldn't trust any government to do that. And so, New Hampshire's got that nice thing where you don't get an income tax, but then you get the property taxes, and so
the property taxes, and that has to do with the spending, right? There's both local spending and there is state spending, right? And those combined, is where you come up with at least 60% of your income tax, or not your income tax, your state property tax comes from your schools, right? That goes to the school boards and the cost of education and whatnot. So you're looking at the spending on a local level and also on the state level. And I've been saying this to everybody. We could send the entire budget back to all the towns they'd still find a way to spend it and not lower your taxes.
Yeah.
And so that's the problem that I have with an income tax, because like you said, you can institute it, but it doesn't mean your property taxes are going to go down.
Yeah, they'll always find somebody to spend it on,
Right.
or something to spend it on. And so it's really difficult unless you get somebody who is very judicious with money and who really values just a wise governance and a sort of wise husbandry with somebody else's money, a good steward of those resources to keep the state in the black and not constantly have to raise taxes.
And the legislature changes every 2 years. So go ahead. Good luck with that, right?
That'll be
Good luck with that. And the nation's in debt $32 trillion.
Oh, I think more than that now.
Yeah.
I think it's 33, 34.
That's what we know. Yeah. And we're still sending $34 million a week. $34 million a week to Afghanistan, to the Taliban.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah,
Wow.
I'm scratching my head on that one.
That's terrible.
I don't get it. And
I think I remember when they instituted that, because that was for like development of like women's things there and things like that, or minority things, or some silly thing that they're obviously not going to do that doesn't appeal to them at all, but they still want to do it.
it's been usurped, and so now the Taliban's getting that and shutting down the schools for the girls, and of course, we've been sending money to Iran, and of course that allows them to do whatever they're doing these days to, make the world at peace. And I tongue in cheek, hello, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
But, so you're running, you vote in Ward 1, and this is your first term. And have you done any kind of governance before?
No, I have not. So I'm relatively new to politics, except for being terribly dissatisfied with it for at least 10 years.
Welcome to the club. The water's warm.
Yeah, ever since I stopped being a student, I've just been like, wow, this is what adults deal with, and wow, this is really terrible. And eventually got to the point where I was sick of it, and I felt like I had to do something, and I want to take a more active role in that, because they say that all politics is local, and so and the temperature of the nation is obviously very high. Anything could happen at any time, as we've seen, and it's very disconcerting to somebody like me, and to anybody really. And so I think that what we do, at the state level or even at the city level, I think it can have large ramifications to what happens to the rest of the country, to be honest. I mean, I think if for instance, our freedom of speech is being stepped on, under the guise of a private company, and even though they call themselves, like the private social media companies, and even though they call themselves the public square, they're still censoring people for things that are obviously not illegal for their political viewpoints. And I think that, for instance, we can make that illegal, at least here in New Hampshire, and then they simply have to deal with it. And then we become kind of a safe haven, a sanctuary state for people who value free speech. And that could honestly affect the rest of the country.
So let me clarify, sanctuary state for people who want to have free speech.
For free speech, sanctuary state for free speech.
But not for illegal aliens.
Not for illegal aliens, no.
And now that becomes an offensive phrase, even though
it does.
It's the legal phrase, so we can call them illegal immigrants or dreamers or whatever you want to categorize them at. Excuse me, dry air in here. I noticed just the other day, I put up a couple of signs. They're good signs. They're like $250 signs in one of the towns. And fortunately, we got it on camera where the guy just came in and just totally wrecked them, destroyed my signs.
Oh, really?
And that's free speech on my part. And it's free speech on the people that gave me the money to buy those signs, to put in a location saying they support me. It's not free speech when that person comes in and tears that down.
Yeah.
That's censorship.
Yeah.
And it was on the left.
And property destruction.
And property
obviously.
destruction. And this person's definitely going to feel the weight of the law because we got him on camera.
Oh, really? Got his license plate and everything?
It's happened every year, and it gets to the point where I'm tired of it. And I don't touch anybody's signs, but free speech is it's our first God-given right. It's a God-given right. Our Constitution recognizes that these are inalienable rights endowed to us by our Creator, not the state. The state doesn't give us this right.
Yeah.
They're there to protect that right. And the Second Amendment, of course, and on and on. But, we're living in a time where lawlessness seems to be abounding, So a little bit about the medical field. So what's going on in the medical field that you think we could make some changes with or do better?
Well, it depends on what you mean as far as, because,
Patient care.
as with everything, like all of the like when it relates to the government, all the major problems are, at the federal level. And so there is somewhat of a limited, there's a constraint on what we can do there. But at the state level, there's still lots of things though, which is very happy for us. There's several laws in New Hampshire that sort of prohibit medical practices from competing in a lot of ways, from being built without certain extremely difficult hurdles that they have to get over. Like you have to attach an emergency department to every overnight hospital.
Even if they don't use them.
Yeah, even if they don't use it. And those things are hard to fund, they're hard to equip, they're hard to staff, and they create like a huge burden, even though there's a huge market for things like orthopedic procedures that basically just don't need that. And if they do need it, if they God forbid, if somebody needs a higher level of care, transfer is routine, So you can do those things, foster competition between, allow easier entry into the medical field for different businesses, and then you're going to have cheaper costs. In addition to that, just encouraging people to pay out of pocket, believe it or not, does decrease medical costs as well. And there's different ways you can do that.
Yeah.
So.
Well, we'd love to have that conversation up there. I happen to vice chair HHS, so.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, we happen to, one of the things that's always irked me, and I don't want to get you in trouble, but is the certificate of need.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But you might not want to talk about that.
Well, I don't know. I'm just like, I'm not a business owner. Obviously, I'm just an employee at the hospital, and it does create competition for them. But honestly, that's probably the best thing for the patients is to have the cheapest
and lower cost, right?
Yeah, lower
competition
cost.
Brings in lower costs.
It does.
Yeah.
It does. So
if there's only one gas station in town, it's not going to be under $3.
Mm-hmm. Right? Yeah, that's true. That's very true.
Hey, wait, it's $2.90 over there.
Yeah.
Right?
From a very small remote town, I can tell you that's 100% true. So.
I'll drive 5 miles to save a nickel a gallon, whatever. But so you have a website?
I do. Yeah, it's Sean Rogers for the number 4 nh.us. So.
Yeah, and I think it's refreshing. I remember when I first got elected, and it was in 2010 for state rep. Just put my name in, and hey, I'll do it. I'm willing to serve. And you really, once you get up there, you're kind of overwhelmed. You're in this big building. You got 400 colleagues that you don't know any of them, and you got to figure out. You got to weave in and out. Who's who, what's what, and you got to learn the process of submitting a bill, researching, putting in the time, putting in the committee work, and there's a lot to it. And you just kind of like look and go, what have I done?
Yeah.
But after a while, once you get your bearings, and you know how to process some of these pieces of legislation and look at them, do your research, it's very rewarding. And I tell people, you go in there, you don't have to necessarily put in a bill. You have to find a bill that you like.
Yeah.
And help that person or those people to get that thing across the finish line. And once you've learned that process, maybe in your first year, then you can help others. And maybe, I think I'm going to put my hand at it. And you can't be afraid to speak. You got to get up once in a while at the well. And sometimes, I've seen it where there's only one person that they bring in a bill and 399 people don't like it.
Yeah. But that's good. That's brave of them to do that.
Very brave.
Yeah, I like that. So
head scratcher, but that takes courage and conviction and a lot of chutzpah.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So, but welcome aboard. And are you having a chance to talk to some people at all?
What do you mean? Just
as far as citizens and knocking doors and.
Oh yeah. I go out every few days whenever my schedule allows. We just had twins too, so it makes it pretty busy. And both my wife Loretta and I work, but whenever I can, I go out there and I hear people's concerns, and obviously, there's several, but economics is always number one because. People need to live, they need to eat, they need to afford the things, and that's just been harder and harder these days. And like historically, compared like the current youngest generation, Gen Z, they have almost half the spending power as the baby boomer generation did. So we're significantly poorer as a country than we were back then, even though it seems like we're richer because of advanced technology and because of like the technological things are just cheaper to make and cheaper to build. But as far as things that you actually need, your housing, your food, your gasoline, that stuff is all much more expensive.
Oh, absolutely.
So.
Yeah, I just I was at an event not too long ago, and I brought a bag of Uncle Ben's rice because I do all the food shopping.
Yeah.
And this one little bag of Uncle Ben rice at Market Basket used to be $5 for $5.
Yeah.
Now it's $2 for $5.
2 for $5. Okay.
That's a huge increase.
Oh yeah.
And I like that rice.
Yeah. No. It's like some of the sectors like groceries and stuff that's really increased disproportionately to everything else. Like pretty much everything you need has increased disproportionately to the stated inflation rates. Because the stated inflation rates, which is probably, it was like I think like 10, 11% at its highest or whatever. What people are actually. It's costing people is much more than that. And the same thing with real estate. I think real estate has gone up by 50%, maybe something like that, 30 to 50%, depending on the region.
It's crazy. And on a state level, one of the things that we have to make sure that we do is nobody wants a sales tax on top of that. Nobody wants an income tax. Nobody wants any of those.
Yeah.
They want to reduce their property taxes, and we sent $500 million back for property tax relief, either setting off, whether it's for a road or for schools or whatever it was. But what happens is the people have got to be more engaged in their local politics. You said everything, all politics is local.
Yeah.
But it's until people realize it's your local people that are spending you into oblivion.
Oh, they are.
And they're bonding things out. I mean, there's a lot of debt out there just here locally in Nashua that you got to pay attention. If you're not, I mean, don't blame it on the state, because the cities like to blame it on the state, but you have to hold your aldermen accountable.
Oh yeah,
the mayor.
And they're still pushing that commuter rail thing with the Massachusetts Board of Transportation. They're pushing all these things that are just enormously expensive. And I believe it was the Massachusetts that has the most expensive rail line ever constructed.
Yeah, the red line's still not working right now because it's under repair. And they won't take care of it when it comes up to here, or maybe they want to take care of the rail. Either way, the people in Rindge, they don't want to have to pay for something they're not going to use. The people in Pittsburgh don't want to have to pay for something they don't want to use, and on and on and on. And so it's a really controversial thing. If you can make it go up to the New Hampshire border, I think that's great. But bringing it anywhere beyond the New Hampshire border, it's like, so they want it to go all the way up to Concord. Who's going to pay for that?
Yeah, I mean, and they've done studies and they've shown like it's by region the places that can make an affordable rail line. And the United States is no longer a place. Since the early 1900s, the United States has not been able to make affordable rail lines. And so it's not a good idea. But in broad, speaking back to your point, is that just, they're spending a lot. Like the New Hampshire, from what I can see, the New Hampshire General Court, the state legislature it's reasonably well governed, very, very well governed, I think, in my opinion. I'm just hoping to add to that. Yeah. But the cities, from what I've seen personally here in Nashua, they do a lot of excessive spending.
Yeah, and people really don't see, what the left hand and what the right hand's doing. And up in Concord, you have the Senate budget, you have the House budget, you have the executive branch budget, and all three of those come together and say, okay, all right, let's talk. Let's have, or fight, whatever you want to do, however you want to do it. And we get to where we come to a consensus. Last year, when we did the budget, it was amazing that we did it on the first try, which was pretty amazing. When Governor Hassan was governor, we had to veto her bill. She vetoed our budget, and we had to override it. And she comes in for a trophy shot saying, hey, look what I did. It really is funny.
That's slick.
It's kind of funny. Yeah, I got a balanced budget. No, not really. We did it, and then you're coming in for the trophy shot, but that's fine. But we have checks and balances is what I'm getting at up there. So it's nice that you're professional. You get twins,
Twins, yep. Yeah, a boy and a girl.
boy and a girl.
Yeah. So it's great. Yeah. Now our family is much larger than it used to be.
Is your wife
so.
a doctor as well?
She is, yeah. Yeah.
Same place?
Same places, yeah. Same job, same places. And we just trade off so we can watch the kids.
Very good.
Yeah, because there's a lot of data about and that's one of the major problems with America is we're outsourcing our parenting, and I saw this where this little kid was talking to this lady. She was a worker at the place, and the lady's like a completely different race, obviously not hers, and he was calling her mommy, and that really broke my heart, to see that that this kid is. So I mean, might have just been a slip up with the words. Maybe he called everybody mommy, but at least in my experience, my older child, he never calls anybody else mommy. But mommy, yeah. And so
that's
sad.
Very interesting and very heartfelt with me because I was in an orphanage and I know exactly what you're saying.
Oh, yeah, that's it.
So we got a couple more seconds, but so how do people get in touch with you? Your website is?
Yeah, Sean Rogers for nh.us.
And phone, do you want to put that out there? Or?
Yeah, well, my email is info@seanrogers4nh.us as well, and I can be reached on social media. Just look for Sean Rogers for State Rep on Facebook and Twitter and all that stuff. I get a lot of haters for that kind of stalk me on there, so I didn't want to give my phone.
Oh no, that's fine. So.
I give it out to people I talk to, but
we all get a little bit of haters now and then. Right? If you're not doing something, you're not getting any haters. So
yeah,
we
that's
appreciate
true.
you stepping up to the plate,
Yeah.
and we appreciate you watching the show. And if it's helpful, please. And if you want to help out Sean with his campaign, go to his website, look it up, and send him a hello. Hi, I'm so and so, and I'd like to support your campaign. So until next week, thanks for watching. And again, please hit the like button and share. If you want to help out Sean's campaign, share this interview. And until next week, we'll see you.